First sort of wee discussion, what do we think about successful clients? What kind of traits does a successful client inside 12X possess? Dom, I'm going to come to you first because I like picking on you.
Thanks, Raz. I think in general, the biggest successful traits are showing up with client check-ins, making sure that they know what needs to be done, following the targets, following the non-negotiables, following their roadmap, and actually, if they set out to do something, making sure they actually stick to it. Because time and time again, if a client doesn't check in or doesn't do the things that they know they need to do, they then come around and say, "Oh, Dom, I'm not losing weight," and I'm like, "But we know why that is, because you're not doing the work."
Anything else that we think in terms of successful clients? I'm going to come to you now. What do you?
I think for you to be a successful client, you need to have ownership of change. So you want to have you need to want to change, and then you need to take the ownership and the steps to take ownership to make change. And a lot of that wraps in with what you've said, Dom, like about the kind of weekly responsibility from the program's end, but also to just set the standard higher for yourself from the start. You know, you're not missing check-ins. You are committing to the feedback that the coach is giving you. You're making sure that you are laying things out across the week that will allow you to take ownership of your daily habits and therefore weekly changes, monthly changes, and just generate success for yourself.
Yeah, I think a lot of the time as well, what people tend to do when they first join is it's a big priority at the start and then life takes over.
Yeah.
And then things can fizzle away. The program needs to always be the centerpiece. It needs to be that focal point of everything you're doing. But sometimes we can put ourselves under pressure when we're trying to hit that bar and we raise it so high at the start. Whereas I was trying to explain to people, like, start with your bar here and then look to increase your bar as you get further into it as well.
I think a lot of it is there, and a good word that I use with a few of my clients who are very busy between work, parenting, everything in between, is you have to learn to become a very adaptable person. So like adapting to everything that life is lifing week to week. And it kind of wraps in what you said, Fraser, about you don't want to put too much pressure on yourself initially, but even when you can manage more time allocating to this, more priorities here, volume of priorities in the week, but then you're also not beating yourself up when life gets in the way, and you can adapt to being busy. You know, you can change the priorities, you can reduce the priorities, you can increase the priorities, but you're constantly adapting to how life is presenting itself without getting stressed out you're not.
I think that's the big thing, isn't it? Because like communicating between the coach and the client himself.
Yeah.
I've got a big thing with my clients that I'm like, right, this is a survival week. This is a thriving week. So you're either surviving or you're thriving.
Thrive versus
Like,
survive.
Get that on a t-shirt.
So like the weeks that I know are chaotic, I've got a million and one things, like that's my survival week. I do my basics. I set 3 non-negotiables, like the steps, tracking, and maybe 2 workouts. Then if that's all I manage, great. If I end up doing any more, even better. The thriving weeks where life's just a little bit more settled, don't have as much on, that's the weeks that I'm going in. But even on the survival week, I don't stop doing my steps, my tracking.
Yeah.
Do you think a lot of that has came from your own experience, Steph? So obviously you've been through this incredible transformation. Do you feel like, cause you've got that like hands-on experience of going through that journey, do you feel like a lot of the stuff that you done, you're almost pushing it on people as well?
Yeah, like I know what I needed to do to get my results. And everyone's always like, oh, how could you not go back? Could you easily go back? No, because those are my daily habits, whether life, and life is hectic. The kids are hectic. I'm here, there and everywhere, parties, school trips, everything. But I still need to show up for myself to be able to show up for all of them.
Yeah, absolutely. And like we've all seen your Instagram when you're getting your steps in at like 4 o'clock or 11 p.m. and
I'm like in my bed. Is there nothing makes you feel more guilty than step on our treadmill at 11:30 at night, just getting another 8,000 steps in? I'm like, Christ, I'm lying in bed.
While I've done 2,300 on a work day, I'm like,
when I come home at 6 o'clock and Lee's like, oh, there's nothing more annoying. You've got your steps in, you've got your workout in, and it's 6 a.m. and I'm like, I've not got time. I've not got any time.
yeah.
It comes down to your standards though, doesn't it? like for you, for example, Steph, like at 4 o'clock in the morning, you're on that walking pad or you're on that treadmill and you're like, every single day you've got to do those goals. And when you do those goals, you get to that outcome. Whereas if we don't do those goals, if we continually drop in those standards, eventually we're gonna stay in that, like what I think is when we first start out within the 12X, we're in this current identity where we look at that North Star and we look at that future outcome and we're like, that's where I want to go. That's where we're heading. But before we can get there, we've got to change this person. And what I see a lot of the time is that people will come into the program, their friends, their family, they might be losing 10 kilos down the line, but then their friends and family want to pull them back because they want the old person. But that new person, to relate back to yourself, Steph, is that person now that's holding the standards, doing the steps, doing the cardio. Whereas the partner and their friends or family might not support them.
Yeah,
Do you know what I mean? But
I think even the knock-on effects, like one of my clients said on her check-in last week, like I knew I couldn't get any time in, so I got up. She was like, I know you as a coach are doing that. I know that you're out there getting your steps in at stupid o'clock. So I thought, why couldn't I? Like, so the knock-on effect of it, like.
It's that kind of ripple effect that you can have in people. And I think it's not just to you, but like people round about you as well. They might not be on board with you at the start, but eventually they'll come on with that ride. You know, they'll be part of your journey, hopefully at some point. But sometimes at the start, you can find that tension, you know, that friction point where it's like, come on, I don't want to get a takeaway tonight. I've got these kind of goals. And what would you say to someone that's like, starting off in the program, right? So it's their first couple of weeks, they're feeling like dead excited but slightly overwhelmed. Like, what would you say to that individual who's just walked through the door at 12X?
What you're feeling's normal. Yeah. I think, because I do think a lot of people worry about that. They come in and think, oh, I do feel so overwhelmed. Like, is it just me? And that's why I think the 12X community is great. Like, the first thing I'm like is get stuck into the community, because you'll realise there's so many, you don't just have your coach there to support you. You've got all these other members, you've got the other coaches. There's like a full community of people behind you. And I know a couple of times when we've used the communities, it's like, you know, we asked the OG members or members on, like, what is one thing that you would tell somebody that walks in for the first time? And they're all like, get stuck in. Like,
take your time. And
but at the same time, that overwhelming feeling's so normal. And it's like, just take it step by step. You don't have to be perfect straight away.
And even that community as well, like sometimes I look at it and I go, see, the advice that you need is actually better coming from a member.
Yeah, we were speaking about this today, weren't we? We spoke about this. I think the power of other people who are a wee bit further down the line than potentially you are at that point, that have went through how you're feeling. I think, even though I would say we're quite relatable, very relatable, but I think actually coming from someone who has just been through that process, I think there's a lot more trust there. I don't know, like trusting.
I think it that makes them not feel alone.
Yeah.
Like, I feel like they've joined this journey. They're probably, and before they sign up or join up, they're probably feeling like they're very on their own. They don't have that support anywhere, and that's why they need a program, a coach for that support. And when they actually get stuck into that community, they realise at no point in this journey are they going to be alone, whether it's their coach, the community.
at the end of the day, we all want to be a part of something. Like us coaches, we thrive together. Whereas if you're on your own, the perfectionism, you want to be doing things as perfect as possible. But at the end of the day, it's not going to happen like that. You're going to have we're going to have peaks, we're going to have troughs, but we are working as a team, the community, all of us coaches to get the job done.
Yeah, see what you're saying as well about, or one of the things I've been thinking about recently was that these relationships are what create the results. You know, it's not the nutrition, it's not the steps, it's actually, you know, being able to relate to that person. And what you were saying as well is just sometimes being under a bit of pressure, like, oh, if Steph can get up at 4 a.m. and do her steps, like, that's going to put a little bit of pressure on me. Therefore, I'm going to have to try and put something into action here as well. And it's interesting how members can just kind of thrive off that. Or they might see another member in the group and they're like, oh, that person's got like 20,000 steps. Now, previously, that person might have thought, oh, look at them showing off, like, oh, it's easy for that person. But now people are starting to realise that that individual can really inspire me to make that big change rather than it just being like, oh, look at them, they've got it all figured out. Because sometimes you can feel like that, oh, it's all right for you. Do you know what I mean? But a lot of the time, when people come into the program, they realise that they're not alone and they've got all these people that are on a very similar journey. And the quicker that people realise that everyone's on this journey, and chances are, no matter how big or small the issue might seem, someone in the community is either going through it right now or has been through it already.
Yeah.
And that's
It's a
why-
togetherness, isn't it?
It's like the power of having those wins. Like when we all put like each of our client wins in every week, that helps us and helps motivate and inspire other clients that have just started within the program to be like, hang on a minute, if I actually go all in and if I actually do the work,
Yeah.
I can actually do something that maybe I didn't think I could do before.
Even talking about like that last question of successful clients, I would say it's somebody that does just get stuck in.
Yeah.
Like
Definitely.
if I think of the, 5 clients off the top of my head that have had unreal results, their names will be all over that community and live sessions and just
And I think I always say that in my onboarding, like the more you put into this, the more you'll get out of it. And it doesn't necessarily mean the more steps you do and the more workouts you do and everything like that, but getting stuck in, speaking to the community, using that support, speaking to me. Like if you're having a hard day or struggling, speak to me about it. Don't just keep it to yourself. Use the community and they'll help you more than anyone else.
100%.
I think as well, it's like for people who have turned and supported someone else in that community group, I think actually for them it must be a great confidence booster.
Such a buzz.
Because
Such a buzz.
they then have that assurance, that like self-assurance that I definitely have made changes here. Like I would never have told someone this or advised someone on that particular thing unless I'd been through it. I now know it and I'm practicing it every day. So I just think it must be amazing to get to that point that in the community side of things, where other people are reaching out, that you'd actually been like, I know the answer to this. Like, or like, but not just the literal answer, but like, I know how you're feeling. I know how to process this. Here's what I did. But they're also getting the reflection of, yeah, I definitely have changed. Like, I definitely have changed.
And it's like that thing where it's like, I get it. Like when someone says, oh, I understand you, and like, you then feel a part of something. And going back to what we said about the community, once you feel a part of something, it gives that buzz. And it's like, when it comes to the in-person events, like I've got a few clients at the minute that can't wait to touch bases with me and to meet all the other coaches. And of course, the main man, Fraz himself as well.
Normally it's a massive letdown. We were going to be a bit more immersed.
You must be a big guy.
In the check-in I had this week, it said, I can't wait to see you in, where was it, Edinburgh or something. And then it said, but also, ... the big man.
So I was actually speaking, my walking talk yesterday was all about like the power of your people. And it kind of wraps in like what we're just chatting about with the community group and 12X is I think we have like a very kind of thriving environment. And I spoke about this yesterday in the walk and talk about like the power of the environment of people that you're around, but actually just in general. But I think 12X, a program, us as coaches as an environment is encouraging, it's supportive, it's enthusing. But then the community side of it as well as an environment, you get everything that you could possibly need from other people to help you. And I think as a whole program, looking at it holistically, it is the optimum environment for change. Like it is. Maybe I'm just being biased.
No, you're flying the flag. No, it's incredible. And I think it just goes back to, people are trying to use these kind of like one size fits all kind of apps or slimming groups or stuff like that. But it comes back to that relationship. Do you know what I mean? It comes back to you being able to open up and everything like that. And that's what it's down to. But one of the things I wanted to ask you guys specifically was related to the buzz that you get from like clients. Like what is it that like keeps you in this job? Like why do you keep showing up? Why do you want to be here? Why do you want to continue pushing 12X? Like what is it? Because I hear it every week, but I think it'd be nice for other folk because we see it in the group chat. If people see in our group chat, they'd be like, holy shit, man, there's a lot of buzz in there. Have you seen this, guys? I can't believe this. Look at this check-in. It's amazing.
Do you know one of the things for me I think is really fulfilling is seeing people like I don't even know how to describe this, but the phrase that I use is in the kind of maybe like what I appreciate in coaching and client success is the inside out factor where actually you see clients starting to focus less on the kind of outer progress. So like whether that is scale weight, body composition, even clothes sizes, like the kind of quantifiable stuff, and actually their focus turns and stays with how they feel from the inside out, if that makes sense. So actually, like their mindset around the relationship with nutrition, exercise, sleep, like how, all of our metrics that we cover, I think when you notice clients and they notice it, that their mindset has completely changed from the inside, but actually they're starting to really feel good from the inside. I think that is the bit that I definitely, with clients that like give me feedback and check-ins, that I'm like, this is amazing. Like, the rewiring of previous mindsets that they've had, particularly with nutrition. That's the big one that comes up. I don't know if this is for you guys as well, but particularly with nutrition, the rewiring of their relationship and getting to a place that they're not feeling they have to be restricted. They're out of binge eating cycles, emotional eating cycles, and they're feeling good from the inside out rather than always focusing on the outside.
Aye, because for like so long they've been trapped in that kind of like scarcity around food. Do you know what I mean? The pressure that they must feel every day, the noise from food, and like every single day it must just be so loud in their head, and they've got no idea what route to take, because there's so many people, especially online, shouting, do carnivore, do keto, do intermittent fasting, whatever it is, and you're like, "Fuck, no wonder they're confused." So when they come in and they eventually walk through something that they know is sustainable longer term, they're going, wow, like this is what freedom feels like. And it's just that kind of sense of escapism that they create for themselves, and just that, it's almost like an outer body experience.
I think as well, a huge identity change. Like clients can come in the process, be someone completely different. Like I've got a client at the minute who has come through the process, and to be quite frank, he was in quite a low space. And from a mental health perspective, as we know, mental health is a big thing at the minute in today's society. And to now come into the process and be in this position where he's thriving, he's loving life, he's now a role model to his family, to his kids, and to be able to change someone's life like that, it gives you a purpose, I think, and I think we can all relate to it. But I don't see anything like this, like the community that we've got, how it can change and create that buzz and create the atmosphere to everyone comes together. You don't have it anywhere else.
I think the biggest thing for me is seeing people start to put themselves first, like prioritize themselves. Like when they come in, their mental health is low and like they don't feel great about themselves, and a lot of time it's because they're filling everyone else's cups around them, and theirs is absolutely like bone dry. And it's just seeing them slowly make these lifestyle changes, move themselves more, find love through movement, whether it's the gym, dancing, walking, running, improve their relationship with food, and do the work to do that, because it's hard work. Like these members are like, they're working their asses off, and actually seeing them do that for themselves, not for their partner, other people, for themselves, and seeing that whole like growth happen, like
I think
so
we forget
fulfilling.
about that as well, how actual hard it is. Like seeing like modern lifestyle, right? When you're running about and you've got kids everywhere and you've got madness going on, like
so difficult.
It is so hard. I mean, even for me, right? I've got quite a normal, like kind of straight away kind of life, but trying to do it with kids and everything like that, I've got no idea how the hell you done it. I've no idea how you're still alive.
I was about to say, Fraser, see if you're about to say that I don't know how you do it and like you keep everything up. My plates are on the floor. My plates aren't still spinning. They're smashed.
No, but you're still able to just like rock up to High Rocks events and just like win the whole thing. Do you know what I mean? Like you're still doing bits. You know what I mean? Just me, man. Just walking up and how'd you go? We just won it.
He wears his nappy on his head. Because I'm like ready for bed. But yeah, I think the confidence as well of clients, like seeing the change in confidence, and I think with confidence comes the prioritization of themselves. Because I think a lot of the time is because they are maybe so far down the ranks in their own life, for whatever reason, whether it is work stress, family life, care responsibilities. I know I've got loads of clients that are caring for like the elderly people in their life. In terms of where they sit within their own life priorities, it's actually quite low. But I think sometimes a barrier is the judgment potentially of other people when they do start putting themselves first, and they become someone that prioritizes their own time, that prioritizes saying no when needed, and making like healthier choices. But I think the confidence building around that is amazing, because they go from how you were saying, Dom, like it's like one identity, then a confidence transformation to become someone that thrives for themselves. Like, you know, they're taking action for themselves. And yeah, the confidence side of it, I just think you get a tone of it in check-ins.
Definitely.
You know,
Yeah.
and
Each week.
one of my clients actually screenshotted me a check-in from last January, and it was at the start of February. She sent it and she said, Emma, the first thing I'm noticing in these check-ins is the language I'm using in Start. You know, and like, you know, just again that was a year's difference to the day, like to the week, but the difference in how she was, you know, talking about herself, what she even just the content of the check-in, what she was focusing in on. I just thought, this is amazing. Like, it's amazing. Yeah.
I had a client last week that literally put in a message to me, like, I have looked in the mirror for the first time and liked what I seen.
I got that the
And
other day as well.
honestly,
Oh,
like,
Did you guys get that in the chat?
literally,
hit myself in the mirror.
Yeah.
I couldn't believe what I saw. And I was like,
love it.
yes.
and I literally did a video to her, and I'm like, I'm actually so sorry because I am so emotional about this. I was like, oh my goodness.
Yeah.
And she was like, oh, Steph, you are quite emotional. And I was like, because I know what it's like to be there and to get to here. And I was like, and you're probably thinking, oh, goodness, here she goes off on one line. I was like, but honestly, that's just like, and it's things like that you think, no, you are making a difference. And
It's very fulfilling, isn't
Yeah.
it? It's a very rewarding role in someone's life that I think we forget sometimes to reflect on it though. Like actually, you know, with individual clients, if you really delve into them, and if you were to go back and look at a year's worth of check-ins or the progress photos, but just how they are relating to themselves, I think you would really take that like positive fire under your backside buzz, because we are making a difference. We are. And people's lives have changed, like completely changed, and they'll never ever go back, because what we're putting in place for them is habits that are molded for life. Like, it's not gonna
Sustainability, isn't it? It's for long term.
It's not gonna, like, you're not gonna unwire all of that work that these clients have worked so hard to get themselves to a place with. And I suppose we should be doing ourselves at a job. Like, if we do our job really well, you know, we're setting these people up for.
But that is the ultimate goal, is you're trying to teach yourself at a job. You know what I mean? Eventually they're going to have all the tools, the knowledge, the education to go off, and it's going to be cemented in a point where they no longer need us. Do you know what I mean? That is the ultimate goal here as well. And one of the things that I spoke about probably a few months ago as well was just trying to create that generational health. Do you know what I mean? So is there any like clients that you feel there's been like an unbelievable like ripple effect, and you can mention names by the way, like an unbelievable ripple effect to like the wider family? So what I mean by that is, like, maybe it's a mum who's now got her kid in the kitchen and teaching them a little bit more about nutrition, or it might be, you know, a partner that was never really supportive but is now fully on board, or it might be a partner that's now pushing that individual to get out and hit their steps, or, you know, you said you were going to do this, so let's stick to it, you know, something that's kind of creating that ripple effect within the family. Because that, see, for me, like, that's what 12X is. It's to try and create that kind of lasting impact so that people can eventually, because you probably found that in teaching as well, like it's very, very difficult to mold that change into a child, especially when they come into secondary school and they've already got a lot of behaviours and everything that they've often picked up from whoever is their kind of role model in their life. But it's interesting seeing people transform. You mentioned role model earlier on for the family, like how rewarding is that to see someone come in and just suddenly become that big role model in the family's life?
I've got one, Fraser, from, and again, I actually just mentioned her, we're chatting about check-ins, was Ellie Mitchell. And Ellie, we spoke about, this was again a walk-in talk a few weeks ago about the importance of recognising non-scale victories. And one of the things that she had shared was that over the course of the last few months, she's really been, you know, pushing in on the fitness side of stuff. we've got her on a gym program. She's now working towards doing a 5K park run. So she's on a running program for that. But she had highlighted her mum, she wasn't takes her mum on days out and things like that. But previously she was limited to where she could take her mum because she couldn't push her certain places in her wheelchair because she wasn't fit enough or strong enough. But Ellie had highlighted in this walk and talk a few weeks ago that she now has a lot more time with her mum outside. She's got a lot more like scope of things to be doing with her mum, and therefore her mum's quality of life, because Ellie can take her places with ease now. She feels fitter. She's not getting tired. Like, you know, the quality of her mum's life has improved as a result of Ellie, you know, making the fitness changes, working on her strength, etc. So it's like a backwards generation.
Is this Ellie that trains with Grace? Ah,
Yes.
right, okay, right. So
Yes.
Ellie was on one of my walking talks, right? And she said something incredible as well in terms of going to social occasions, right? And she used to go to these social events and she would always be really nervous, she'd be dead restrictive, and she would feel totally overwhelmed. And she'd end up like leaving early
Yeah.
because it just got a bit too much. Whereas what she's finding now is she's giving herself that permission to get out and enjoy it.
Yeah.
And see all her friends are like, oh my days, man, like how good fun is Ellie? Like Ellie has brought the fun to the party, like, and it must be amazing, like like that ripple effect for her friends.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? They've got real Ellie back, you know, than Ellie who was kind of shying away,
Yeah.
not too sure, and you know, dead worried around food. Whereas now she's getting out, she's enjoying that, and you know, for me, I think that's what it's all about. Is being able to go and enjoy that social occasion, but do it guilt free and still remain on some sort of path as well.
Yeah, and she, like, see, even for her, she was away on quite an extended holiday, and she wasn't tracking in like that. She had an amazing time, like she was away kind of traveling, and she was saying that again, the difference between her approach to actually physically going on holiday. She says, I would have been so like up to high dole, but she went away. She still checked in though, like she was on holiday. But it was funny because it was like
Standards.
any. But she's like, I just want to still check in. And again, what a great, like, you know, she's still turning up. Even when she's on holiday, she's still got that, like, the buy-in there. But she came back from her holiday, I think she'd said on the scale weight for it, she'd only put on 2 pounds and didn't think anything of it. Like, there was, she said, I didn't think anything of anything. I just was away on my holiday, I came back and
And that's
back to
that
my normal
freedom.
routine.
Yeah, I mean, that's just like
Yeah.
you've totally escaped the shackles that were holding you back. And Ellie's probably one that's maybe struggled for that for the last 10, 15 years. I think somebody put a message in the group the other day as well, just about someone that had struggled for 27 years, you know, with their diet and how they were feeling and stuff like that. Like, these are people who have literally been chained to thinking that they can only do this and this is the only way, and suddenly they've got this newfound freedom. Like, they must be feeling just unbelievable. Like, can you imagine how good you would be feeling? Like, you've been away, you've loved your holiday, and then you get back and you're still feeling, it's mental.
I've got another case study there as well when it comes to a client. So I have a client called Nick Rogers, and he's lost
Nick.
like
Love Nick.
honestly, the man has changed so much. Even Martin Phillips as well. He's gonna love this shout out. It's go on, Martin. Actually, not mine. Marty likes that one. Yeah, Nick, Dylan Fullerton has just literally joined the program, and all of these fellas that are now coming together, and John Burns as well. You can't forget John. Everyone is building that community together now. With Nick Rogers, he's lost 10 kilos, and just going back to the mental health part, like what you was touching there on about Emma was how sustainable this is going to be, like long term. Like, he's already getting his kids involved with the cooking, he's already getting his partner now involved with the movement, doing the steps. And we always laugh because we're like, right, get your cardio done on the weekend. And now we're starting to try and encourage his partner to do the same. So when you, Fraz, were saying about the ripple effect, it happens to everyone. But I think one thing that has to be mentioned is the impact that this will have, like, for generations, because like the amount of low carb this or low fat this or all these societal things that we've been brought up around, or even in the 50s and 60s, to now be in this position that we can have that freedom and live our life and enjoy our life, but also get to the outcome and achieve the results that we actually want to achieve.
That's often the bit that you forget about as well. So when people first join the program, they probably feel like they're being a little bit selfish. And a lot of the time we've got to reframe that and say, look, you coming in, focus on yourself. Everyone else in your life gets a healthier, happier, stronger, generally a better person to be around. They're going to be less crabby, less stressed. Their nutrition's going to be dialed in terms of the family enjoying half decent meals that I'm sometimes throwing together. Recipes with Fraz app if you're not down there.
Yeah. Plug.
But it's so true, mate, because everything changes with one decision. And like, if you're watching this right now, you have one decision to just commit, and if you commit, your life will change.
It will. Yeah, it will.
Like significantly.